the worm. Then they sponge the barrel to make sure any powder residue from the previous shots sparks have been erased. In case there's any embers left from the last cartridge, those are put out.
Boom, that was it, thank you. Gotcha. Welcome to Fort Macon State Park, folks. This is our third cannon firing of the day here on Cannon Day here at Fort Macon State Park. We hope we can get this in before this big cloud dumps on us or whatever it's going to do. So we will try to get this in for you. What we're going to do, this cannon we are getting ready to fire is one of the fort's large guns, large Seacoast gun. This particular cannon is called a Model 1841 Navy pattern 32-pounder. It gets the name 32-pounder because it fired a cannonball that weighed
32 pounds.
You got it. As a weapon, this cannon is capable of firing a 32-pound ball at a range of 1,756 yards. That is 4 yards short of a mile. Well, how far is that exactly? Well, if you take a look out across the inlet out here, take a look over there. There's an island on the other side of the inlet, and that's called Shackelford Banks. It's part of the Cape Lookout National Seashore today. From here to that island, the range is just over a mile. So in other words, these 4 32-pounders here could fire and almost reach the beach on the complete opposite side of Beaufort Inlet over there. Of course, if an enemy ship was coming in, it would be in the middle of the channel, right square in front of us like that sailboat there, and boom, he's gone. So that is why Fort Macon is built where it is. It keeps enemy warships out of Beaufort Harbor. Okay, 32-pounders. Now, Fort Macon at one time had as many as 54 cannons. 18 of those were smoothbore 32-pounders like you see here. 4 were rifled. Then you had some very large guns called Columbiads, which we have one down here on the very end down there. So these cannons are large Seacoast guns designed to sink ships, and that's exactly what they would do. Now, the big cannon down here at the end, the 8-inch gun, is capable of firing 2.7 miles. The rifled cannon way down here on the very, very end can shoot up to 5 miles. So an enemy ship approaching the harbor trying to get in, boom, we'll probably blow him out of the water long before he ever gets to the channel. Anyway, the gun crew on the cannon here is your typical 5-man gun crew for this sort of weapon. And each person on the gun crew has specific duties to carry out in the loading process. What you've seen them do is roll the cannon to the rear. From battery was the command. They searched the piece, which means they ran the instruments down and things, trying to get out bird nests or stuff like that. Also, there's a wet sponge that goes down there to extinguish any sparks or gunpowder, burned gunpowder that might be in the cannon from the last time it was fired. What they will do here in a moment to complete the loading process, since the cannon is out of battery, the reason you do that, by the way, is because since these are muzzle-loaded weapons, you roll the cannon to the rear. That gives you access to the muzzle to load it without having to stand on the wall in full view of enemy gunfire. So that's why the cannon is rolled to the rear. The command will be given, load. We will insert a powder bag. And it is just a powder bag of 3 pounds of gunpowder that is half the size of the normal service charge for this cannon. Normally we would use 6, we're just using 3. We will not be firing a projectile out of this cannon, so no cannonball. Aww. Let's say it all together. Aww. Well, we got some people out there on the beach and some boats over there, and you know, they kind of have a dim view of people shooting cannonballs at them and all of that. So if I allowed that to happen, I'd have a lot of explaining to do and a lot of paperwork on my very short career. So anyway, we're just firing a blank gunpowder charge of 3 pounds of powder. When they will roll the cannon forward, the command will be in battery. That pushes the cannon forward to the firing position. The command will be given point. The gun crew the cannoneers will come around and move the cannon back and forth to bring the muzzle on the target as the gunner is aiming the piece. The next command will be ready, and at that time, a primer will be handed up to the gunner, who will insert it in the vent hole on top of the cannon. The gunner's the man standing on the cannon. As I'm sure most of you folks know, watching TV and stuff, these old cannons have a little hole in the top. The primer will be inserted in that hole. It's called the vent. Now, in the movies, when you fire an old-timey cannon like this in the movies, don't they always show you with a little fuse or a wick thing sticking out of the top? And you stand there with your box of matches or your Bic lighter, or if you're Clint Eastwood, you use your cigar and light the fuse and psst, boom, the cannon fires. Is that the way it is really done? No. That, my friends, is Hollywood. That is not how you fire these cannons. They are not fired with a fuse thing. They are fired with a mechanical primer called a friction primer. The friction primer is inserted in that vent hole on the top. The primer has a lanyard, a firing cord attached to it. The number 3 cannoneer will have hold of the lanyard at the other end. At the command fire, the gunner gives the command fire. Number 3 will pull the lanyard. That rips the ring out of the primer. Like a child's cap gun, the primer will explode, detonate the powder bag, boom, cannon fires. That's how these things work, not with a fuse or a wick like you see in Hollywood. See, you learned something today. All right. Okay, we're going to get ready to complete the loading process. The gunner will order load. They'll complete it, ram the powder bag down, roll it forward into battery, point, ready, and fire. To you, sir.
Attention cannoneers. Load. Head battery. Heat. Heat.
John, tell Trevor not to put it in.
Heat. 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 Point. Ready.
Kalau kalian boost dia